What is up, T.O.Gs? I've got so much to talk to you guys about this week in this moto vlog. This is still going to be a moto vlog. I'm not going to be on my motorcycle, but I spent plenty of time on my motorcycle this past weekend because I went to Southern California this weekend to the IMS Outdoors in Southern California, Costa Mesa, the OC Fair and Event Center, and we rode a lot of motorcycles. We'll get to that, but before we get to that, ended up finally getting my free t-shirt. I went to the IMS Outdoors in Northern California, forgot to get my t-shirt because I rode a lot of bikes that time. We rode a bunch more this time, and just like in Northern California, I spent more time on the bike than anything else, and so I didn't get a lot of time to visit vendors or check out any of the events. They had live music and everything. The event was amazing, but at the same time, there was just so many bikes to ride and so many brands, oh my gosh, which is the reason why we went to Southern California. So let's hop right into it. So this is just the format of the way I like to run these videos. I want to talk about the things that I liked, the pros of the IMS Outdoors Southern California, before we get into the things that I thought could use some tweaking, I guess, to say it nicely. So let's talk about the venue itself first. The OC Fair and Event Center was a great venue to hold the IMS Outdoors. It wasn't motorcycle or race specific like it was in Northern California at the Sonoma Raceway, but at the same time there was plenty of space, plenty of room to spread out, especially in these times where it's nice to be able to not be so in such close quarters. They also had this pseudo indoor section where you could go through this corridor and there was all these vendors that were inside, which was really nice because even though you weren't technically inside, you could get out of the sun. The weather was actually really nice, which is, you can't really base an event based on an outdoor event based on the weather because that's not something that they can control. Now, to me, Southern California, and again, it was the format or the way that they had the layout, the physical layout of the vendors at the IMS Northern California, to me wasn't as good as it was in Southern California. Perhaps it's because Southern California had more vendors and that's why it felt like there were more vendors. But for me, the Southern California event, the layout was better thought out. And again, this is probably because the IMS Outdoors at Southern California is one of their last stops, whereas back in July when we did Northern California, it was one of their first stops. And so again, perhaps they were learning as they went, but certainly the Southern California event had a lot of vendors. It was well organized. They had their flags up so that you could actually locate the vendors. Maybe if you were looking for cycle gear, I was specifically looking to check out Rurock's area, but cycle gear was there, Shark was there, a lot of helmet vendors were there. They had some local vendors as well, and all of these things to me were really easy to find. There were lots of things to do other than vendors and demo rides. They had live music, they had food trucks out there, so if you got hungry, there were places to eat. Then they had some stunt bike riders that were out in the back. But this was amazing. When these riders are in the air, to me, it was like, I took some of these video in slow motion and I'll show them to you here. The video is in slow motion, but while they're in the air, it almost feels like it's already in slow motion. I can only imagine as they're in the air, it doesn't feel as long as when you're watching them do it, but maybe I'm wrong. If you're one of those riders, go ahead and leave that in the comments. If it feels like it's slow motion for you guys too. So many vendors. They had the outdoor adventure out section where they had people giving talks about adventure riding. And speaking of adventure riding, I got to meet one of my YouTube friends, one of my YouTube inspirations. I've been watching her channel for years, and finally got to meet in person Amanda Zito from As the Magpie Flies. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, be sure to check it out. There'll be a link right here to go to her channel and also one in the description. She's just as amazing in person as she is on her channel, and so just so gracious, and I just felt lucky to meet her and just wish that I had more time. So the event was organized. There were lots of things to do. I was really happy with the event itself, but let's talk about the things that I felt like could have gone better. So one of the things I guess that they can't help is the time of year. So with daylight savings time and the time of year that the event was put on, that meant less hours to ride, less hours to do the things that you wanted to. So for the event here in Northern California, we did it in the summer. I think the event went from like 9 to 6 o'clock. This event only went from 9 to 4:30 because of it was dark. My last test ride that I did, it was dark by the time we got back. But again, that's not something that they can help. But for an event as large and serving as large of a dense population as Southern California, I felt like they could have visited Southern California earlier in the year, at least before daylight savings time, so we had that one more hour of sunlight. Now, one of my biggest gripes about the event was the location for demo rides. Now, as far as the location was for the actual event, for vendors and for other things, I thought it was great. But for the demo rides, we were in it was kind of a lousy location. It was really central to a lot of commercial area and residential area. So when you went out on a test ride, very few rides got where you could ride at highway speeds. So that was really frustrating to be at this event with so many brands and so many bikes to ride, and not be able to really kind of test these motorcycles at higher speeds, especially with some of the bikes that I got to ride, like the S1000 XR by BMW and the KTM 1290 Super Duke. You know, these are bikes that I really wanted to open up, and I didn't get a chance to do that because of the location of the event. Now, this might just be because the event isn't just there for people who are there to demo motorcycles. It's there for everybody. It's there for people of all ages, and so that's not their number one concern. I'd really like to know maybe the percentage of people who are there to demo ride, as opposed to just be there at the event. If it's over 50-50, like if it's 60-40, where more people are there just to demo ride, that's really, to me, something that they need to take into account where the location of these events are going to go on. Because to me, it's important, right? Because a lot of us are there to test bikes that we would like to consider purchasing in the future. And a lot of these brands that are there don't allow their bikes to be test ridden, especially as thoroughly as you can at these events. So that's definitely something I hope that they consider next time around if it continues to be just an outdoor event. Another one of my gripes, this is a little bit more nitpicky, was I think the event could have used more employees or more staff on crowd control, because as you came back from demo rides, you came back right through the crowds, not just of the people who were waiting to ride, but just of the people who were there at the event. So as you were coming back, you ended up having to kind of like weave through people. To me, that's just kind of a recipe for disaster, right? If somebody comes in hot and they don't have great control of a bike that they're not familiar with, especially a newer rider, you could be looking at, injuries and accidents that are unnecessary if you had more staff directing traffic, making sure people stay clear of the paths of the demo rides coming back in. Now, one of the things that I noticed before we headed into the event was kind of the lack of security. For an event this large, when you've got hundreds, if not thousands of people filing through all day long for 3 days during the weekend, to me, it's definitely something that warrants bag checks. And people were just walking in. I had all my gear in my backpack, and I was expected to have my bag checked, and so I had it open and ready, and there was no bag checks, especially when you're talking about a demographic of people who I think would tend to be more aggressive, right? You don't want people bringing in weapons, is what I'm getting at. And so for me, security definitely could have been tighter. And when I say tighter, they could have had security at all, because to me, it didn't look like there was any security. It didn't even seem like there were any local authorities at the event either, which to me, it seems like something this large, definitely to me at least, should have had some police on standby. They're at the gate or they're at the event all day. But all in all, I was really impressed with this event. Really, there was only one brand that wasn't there that would have appreciated getting a chance to ride like the Street Fighter, and maybe one of their adventure bikes as well, was Ducati. So Ducati is, I don't know if maybe they have a policy or something that they don't do events like this and allow demo rides, but that's definitely one vendor that I felt like was missing to make it really complete. And when I say complete, I rode a lot of bikes. So before I end this video, I do want to say big shout out, big kudos to the event coordinators, everyone who helped put on the IMS Outdoors in Southern California. Excellent, you guys did an excellent job. One of the things I do like about having the event outdoors is that everything's close, right? When we were in Long Beach in 2019, you had the indoor event and then you had the outdoor event where you did motorcycle demos. And what happens was, if I wanted to do something in between demos, I had to really plan out how much time it was going to take for me to go from the lot where we were doing the rides all the way back into the event center. And so to have it all outdoors, I felt like I could do a lot more with the time that I had. And considering I was only at the event in 2019 for 1 day. So for the staff and the coordinators to put on an event like that where everything is all in one place and still have it be as organized as it was, I was thoroughly impressed and had a really, really good time. So for those of you who are watching this video after the fact and maybe you're heading out to an IMS event in the future, make sure you check out the link above of a video I made. If you're wanting to test ride a bunch of motorcycles at IMS, I give you my best tips to get on as many bikes as you can with the time that you have. But as we close out this video, I'm gonna roll footage of all of the video I took of the motorcycles that I rode at IMS Southern California. So be on the lookout for those videos coming in the future. I'm going to edit them as fast as I can so you guys can watch the test rides that I took down at IMS Southern California. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Guys, if you're out there riding, please be safe. Be kind to one another. My name is Eric. I'm that one guy, and I am out.